On today's show, holy moly! Electric cars with more than 1,000 horsepower. Tesla hits the panic button over Model 3 production, and we'll tell you what automotive designers think about design clinics. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. While Tesla is suspending production of the Model S and X today as it struggles to boost production of the Model 3. If Tesla misses its target of making around 2,500 Model 3s a week, its stock could take a pounding from Wall Street, so it's all hands on deck. Uber settled out of court with the family of the woman who was killed by one of its autonomous vehicles. Financial details were not revealed, but settlements like this usually involve $2 to $3 million. Weak demand in the U.S. and a big drop in China caused world vehicle sales to slip in February. Ward's Auto reports automakers sold 6.9 million vehicles, down 2% compared to the year before. However, we will note, when combined with January sales, total sales are up 2.6% for the year. And in another sign that Volkswagen needs cash in its rush to develop electric cars, it's looking into spinning off its heavy truck division. That would include Volkswagen Truck and Bus, MAN, and Scania. Analysts say an IPO could bring in more than $12 billion for Volkswagen, which had to pay out more than $30 billion in fines, buybacks, and make goods over its diesel emission cheating scandal. Ooh-wee! How would you like to be able to park 1,000 horsepower in your driveway? Well, that's coming up next.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
We're getting a first look at the electric cars coming from SF Motors called the SF5 and SF7. It's also teasing what could be a CUV. SF says they have 1,073 horsepower and 300 miles of range. The SF5 goes on sale next year. The batteries are being developed by Martin Eberhard, who developed Tesla's battery packs based on 18650 type batteries. We think the front end is reminiscent of the new nose going on the Ford Fusion. SF Motors is a Chinese-owned company with headquarters in San Francisco and manufacturing plants in China in Mishawaka, Indiana. Well, we now know what it will cost to feel like the king of cool. The new Bullitt Mustang is priced at about $47,500, including destination charges. That is more than $11,000 on top of a Mustang GT. Orders for the new Bullitt are open now, with sales starting this summer. You know, vehicles that can talk with one another or the infrastructure will greatly improve safety. And now the European Union has mandated that all new vehicles built after April must have an automatic emergency call function called eCall. If a vehicle's airbag control unit is triggered, an emergency alert is sent out with the vehicle's exact location. The alert can also be sent manually if someone were to witness a serious accident. It's believed that eCall could reduce response time by 40 to 50%, depending on where the crash occurred. What do car designers think about holding design clinics with consumers? We'll take a look at that right after this. For designers, creating a new style for a brand isn't an easy task. How do you know what the public will actually like? On Autoline this week, John sits down with designers from Jeep, Buick, and Ford and discuss the pros and cons of holding a clinic to gauge the public's reaction to a new design.
When you do a clinic, you're asking normal people what they think the future should be like for an automobile. They don't really know, right? They have a feeling about what they like, what they don't like when they see it. And sometimes when we get further in the process, we do smaller clinics, but it's sort of like with the car we've chosen, the one we don't do clinics. We don't, for example, have 3 cars that we send to clinic and one comes out the winner, you know. I've worked at other places where that's done, and I mean, you can look at it both ways. It can be beneficial because you get sort of a pulse on if it's too far, if it's not far enough. You know, we've all been involved in clinics where if something is polarizing, you usually know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
If everyone likes
Right,
it, it'll
right.
get old fast.
Yeah, right,
So-
right. Yes.
So you sort of have to know what to do with clinic results.
Actually, you said some really interesting things, like, because I think at least at Buick, in GM, you know, we will clinic, but we're trying to really understand or get to the heart of what do you like and why, or like what don't you like
clinic
and
people
why?
explain that, the why.
Sometimes they can't. Sometimes they can't, and you know, we'll ask a lot of questions around it, and they can't really maybe articulate it. But I think that we go in just to get enough hints, like gather just enough information to just maybe steer things subtly, not necessarily to, you know, take every verbatim and go back and design a car around what the customer is telling us to do. It's just to kind of understand like why they might be drawn to something, why they may not be, or you know, some things they're not drawn to are just because they're too far out there, and then we're like, oh, maybe we should be doing that. You know, maybe this is, yeah, right, maybe we're onto something. So it's not always, we don't always take it literally maybe, but we're gathering information. Yeah.
And to learn more about how cars are designed, you can watch that entire show right now on our website, Autoline.tv, or on our YouTube channel. But that wraps up today's show. Thanks for watching, and please join us again next week.
Ward's is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.